Welcome, everybody. My name is Alvin Shaw. I'm one of the managing partners here at First Option Mortgage. We are a mortgage company that's been in business for over 20 years. And we started doing these webinars several months ago with the intention that, over the last 20 years, we've seen a lot of ups and downs in the mortgage industry, and we've learned a lot of different things because of the experience that we've got. And we wanted to bring that experience back to the industry as a whole. Um, just being, to doing this for so many years, I think I've seen a lot of interest rate ups and downs. I've seen a lot of changes when it comes to economic cycles, and I've seen a lot of changes when it comes to what we see now as the new tech boom. And I will tell you, I think that this is one of the most interesting and different times in our industry that I've ever seen, especially over this many years. As part of what we do is we bring on, specialists and experts in our industry. And typically, when we bring somebody on, it's somebody that First Option is already working with, and so we've kind of vetted them out and already have a relationship with them. And so today I've got on Diana, and Diana, I've always struggled with your last name.
It's okay. Drama, Vic. It's fine though.
She's with MBS Highway, and I guess we've been in relationship with MBS Highway for many years now, and have seen them, grow and really bring different products and different things to the table to help the mortgage community. And for those of you that don't know, Barry Habib is, I guess, the starter and founder of MBS Highway. So let's give it a few minutes to have Diana introduce herself and talk and tell us a little bit about her experience.
Thanks, Alvin, and thank you all for joining today. It's nice to be with you all. And before I start, Alvin, is there a chat or a Q&A in Zoom that I can see, or only you guys see that, if there's one available? Just want to see.
Alex, let's
If you
see.
guys see anything, just stop me and let me know, and I can
Okay,
answer it.
perfect. Yes, there is a chat function, but I think only I can see it, so I'll stop you if anything comes through.
Sounds good to me. Okay, sounds good. No, I see a lot of friends and familiar names in the chat, so that's good. But yeah, nice to meet you all. Nice to see you all. I'll keep it short. Alvin said a lot of what I was going to say. We've, of course, been friends with First Option for a long time, and they've been using our tools forever. But just to tell you about the inception of MBS Highway and then what came to be Highway today. MBS Highway was founded about 13, 14 years ago by Barry Habib. You might know who Barry is. And it started as just a rate alert service, an economic analysis service, and we still do all that today. So Alvin and his team are watching what rates are doing every single day, making sure to lock customers in at the lowest rates they can possibly get, and then strategize going forward, not just closing today's loan at these low rates, or I should say higher rates that we're seeing right at this exact moment, but also helping them refi to lower rates later on to help your customers get in their home sooner rather than later and not delay a purchase. That's one of the big pieces I'll be talking to you about in just a few minutes using our tools. But after MBS Highway started to create a lot of calculators like loan comparison tools and buy versus rent analyses, cost of waiting reports, and I'll show you a few of those. Then we started talking with list reports, which a lot of you might be on already. It's totally free for agents. And list reports is where loan officers can get to know agents like yourself, but also give you guys different marketing material. And then there's our third product, Home Report, which is a monthly update. So today we're only focusing on MBS Highway, but just so you understand what our parent company Highway is as a whole, that's kind of how it all came to be. But like Alvin said, we have our economic commentary every single day, about a 5 to 10 minute video that he and his team watch, telling everybody what's happening in the market. Obviously, right now, what's happening with Iran and oil is really affecting the market, and the market's not reacting the way it normally would to things like a CPI report or the PPI report we got this morning, or especially jobs numbers. We're seeing some weaker jobs data, but the market's not really reacting to it as drastically as it would because of the effect we're seeing in oil. So there's a lot of really deep information, heavy information we cover every day. And that's why it's important to ask any questions you have to Alvin and his team because they're watching it for you and they see it in real time. So that's a
And
little
I'll tell
story.
you, that's one of the things that's actually one of my favorite things about MBS Highway, because it's really just a quick 10-minute, 9-minute, 10-minute video that gives you what's going on in the marketplace, in terms of all the different indexes and all the different data. And to be honest, I mean, that's the information that we need to make good decisions on as loan officers and mortgage people. But we're also the ones accountable at this point to be able to pass that information on to our real estate partners, right? Like they don't really know. I mean, a lot of them may not know what's going on. And so we're the catalyst that actually takes the information from MBS Highway and then pushes that information over to the real estate agents, and to be honest, even our borrowers, because the people that are some most freaked out right now are the borrowers, right? Because I mean, they don't know what's happening in the marketplace besides what they hear in the news. And so, it becomes almost our obligation to be able to extract the data, really break it down into layman terms, and then teach our borrowers and our real estate agents, hey guys, look, this is what's going on. And so I think that part of the 10-minute video, I think brings a ton of value to all of us as loan officers. Let me add to that a little bit, right? Because on one side of it, it's the scare and the fear of what's going to go in the market, but then the other side of it is that if you look at the long-term view, right, of what the market's going to do, the fear is just in the media. And when you break down the data and you break down the numbers and you're able to explain those numbers, and I know, Diana, you're going to be getting into all of those tools and how to actually use those tools to explain it. I think that's what really creates that I guess the safety, right? And that get away from the fear and like, okay, let's talk about data. Let's talk about what really happens and what's going to happen to your home in the next 2 years or 3 years or 4 years. So don't sit on the sidelines, because the reality is that the longer you wait, right, and interest rates come back down again, you don't want a COVID rush where all of a sudden you got multiple offers. If in all reality, today is the time to buy, more so because you're able to negotiate better than it would be down the road. So that's my little piece of, hey, how First Option uses MBS Highway in terms of just the data piece of it, right? And then I'll turn it back over to you in terms of like what those tools are that you guys have in your tool belt.
Yeah, and I'm glad the last thing you said was just getting in now before it gets too competitive. And the way I'm going to show you these tools today is not to demo you on the tools. It's not to walk you through what our tool does. It's to help you explain the concept to the customer. Like the first one I'll show you on the screen in a second is our cost of waiting tool. And it really puts meaning behind behind the saying, marry the home, date the rate. It's very cute. Don't get me wrong. I love it, but it doesn't mean a lot if you don't put numbers behind it. So that's what the tool does. The tools are just there to assist you in sharing the message. And then I want to talk to you about the bid over asking price tool. I know bidding wars are not in vogue right now. You're not seeing crazy rampant bidding wars, but when the time does come, you'll have a tool to help you explain to your customers why, like Alvin said, get in now before it gets super competitive and then refi into a lower rate in the future. Again, we have tools for that too. But let me show you some of the tools. Alvin, you stop me if you want me to cover anything more, but I just need to have ability to share. It's not letting me up. Thank you. So first tool is cost of waiting, and I'll show you in a few different formats what these look like. This is just a link option without a video. I'll show you one with a video in a minute. But like I said, this first piece is our cost of waiting report, and it puts the meaning behind marry the home, date the rate. The marry the home part is you want to buy this home today because in the next year of waiting, like we have in this example, the market's not going to wait. I have a zip code here in Georgia. Maybe that's where some of you guys are, maybe not, but it's all customizable by zip code, address, or specific home. We have MLS data in there too. But if you want to wait a year to purchase your home, Mr. or Miss Client, the market's not going to wait. It's going to appreciate. In this area, we're expecting about 3.5% appreciation. That's almost $21,000 you're missing out on by not buying today. But the date the rate part is you get this higher rate today. It's a pretty darn expensive date. And you also have to consider that there's a cost to refinance once rates do come down. But overall, the benefit of buying the home now, dating the rate, getting in there before it gets too competitive is you're benefiting by almost $17,000 over the next year by purchasing today. So this is something to show any client that's on the fence to get them to start moving sooner rather than later. And just to show you the rest of the piece, graphically, we'll show the appreciation gain, the payment difference, and down at the bottom, just a side-by-side comparison where you can show them that, like we said, market's not going to wait, property value is going up, loan amount and down payment go up if you want to keep the same LTV, and here's that rate difference that you're waiting on, which really isn't worth it in many cases. And this is something you can co-brand with your agents. In this example, I don't have a co-brand, but you're welcome to co-brand anything with them, share it as a PDF, as a link, or as an image. And Alvin, unless you stop me, I'll just
I'm gonna stop you right there. And the only reason I know as you get into more and more of the details, you'll be able to see that a lot of these tools are really what you make of it, right? So when you're having conversations, you almost have to make it a habit to say, hey, every customer, this isn't just for those customers that are thinking about it. I mean, this is a tool that can be used for every customer, right? And because you really want to educate and inform them, but and utilize these actual tools to actually sit down with them and say, look, check out what happens to your home over 2 years. And even if they're ready to buy, they may not understand how appreciation works and what kind of equity they're building. So you being their advisor up front and showing them what's going to happen, you may wake something up in them that they otherwise didn't know. But the other thing is also, it's what is it? Buy the house, date date the
Yeah,
rate,
the value
right?
of the home
But
date rate. Yeah.
yeah, and that's only as good as you informing your customer as interest rates come down and it's time to refinance. And so I'm sure, like at some point, we're going to start talking about, how you're able to track your customers and know when the benefit's going to be and when to actually reach out to them and some automation on how to make that happen. So
Yeah.
I wanted to put that little piece in there.
Cool. And the next piece is kind of along the lines of what you were saying too. I mean, right now you only see my video, but in a second you're going to see our buy versus rent tool. I wanted to show it to you in this format though, because Alvin and his team, you guys, you can all create these really nice interactive links with a video, and I think it makes it much more interactive. Obviously, if you're on a Zoom already or a Teams meeting on the phone and you're explaining it to the customer, might not be necessary. But if this is someone that's a more analytical customer that needs to see some more numbers, record a video for them and explain to them that these pieces that they're looking at are interactive. And here they can play it picture in picture, like so, where they're seeing the results alongside. So you guys are great mortgage professionals. You can explain whether it's better to buy versus rent, but why should you have to without a piece like this? This does it for you. And the buy versus rent, I think, is especially important to show either first time home buyers that are weary about purchasing their first home or current renters that are getting a nice deal on their rent right now and it's more costly on their mortgage payment to purchase the home. But I think that's where a lot of buyers get stuck. I'm actually going to bypass this first part for now and go right to the payment difference. So, in an example like this, we're showing the customer that total rent payments over 9 years in this scenario add up to $377,000. The total mortgage payments add up to $480,000. It's a $100,000 difference. Clearly, it's much better off to rent if you're just looking based on payment. And I think that's where a lot of buyers get stuck. But as Alvin said just a few minutes ago, they're not considering the benefits they get from purchasing. You have to consider that that home again will appreciate. You're paying down principal, which is your own equity, your own money. So you gain there. And in many cases, like this one, you're getting a tax benefit over the standard deduction. And everything here can be customized, of course, just like everything else. But then we're going to consider the negatives, the cash flow difference, the closing cost, the cost to sell. But still, you're benefiting by $145,000 over 9 years in that home. And again, it's so interactive where if the customer stays maybe only 2 years in that home, well, you're better off by renting. You're not gonna have enough time to recover the upfront costs of purchasing. But anywhere 3 years or more in that home, you're better off by purchasing. So these are the kind of tools I'd be showing. Like I said, alongside you explaining it to them, this really makes it clear and walks them through, holds their hand, leaves no questions unanswered really on tools like this. So anything, Alvin, on your end before I
No, I
continue?
think you're on a roll. Yeah, let's keep
Okay,
rolling.
cool. Okay. Like I said, the bid over asking price, we won't spend too much time on this one because, like I said, you're not seeing it too much right now, depending on where you are. But when you are seeing bidding wars happen again, use the bid over asking price tool. I'm bypassing all the inputs on our site just to keep it easy. But if, of course, you guys get on board with MBS Highway, we'll do some training, no biggie. But if a customer says in this case, like they have to purchase a home for $600,000, but they need to bid $15,000 over asking price to win that home, so their total bid is 615. Well, based on forecasted appreciation, we can tell them it'll only take them a little under 7 months to recover that additional bid above ask. So if they're staying in the home for at least a year, it would be a good idea for them to purchase this home and bid above asking price. And rate isn't even considered in this tool, but if they have a higher interest rate today, 6.25, 6 3/8, whatever rate you're offering right now, in a second I'll show you how you can then help them refi to a lower rate later on. And yeah, sorry.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, I'm gonna jump in. Okay, real quick. So one of the things like that's really important to First Option as a company is that our partners are integrated with our other partners, right? And so like one of the Diana just sent me over something that actually shows that we're MBS Highway is already integrated with Lendware. And for those of you that were actually on our webinar last month, Lendware was our guest speaker over there. And so when you can create those automations between technologies, that's where the efficiencies pick up, right? Because one tool can do what it does. And in this case, this is a great tool because I mean, the amount of data that you're extracting and you're able to show your customer, like that's going to not only awaken them, but really show them the light at the end of the tunnel, right? And what is possible. But imagine when this tool is also integrated to the other tool that we've got that's automatically sending messages out to your borrower, that's, staying in touch with your borrower, right? I think that's where the magic happens because, you're not doing anything at that point. You're just kind of sitting back and letting these different tools and these different technologies work together and work for you.
Yeah, and ultimately that's our goal to have everything super automated. But now let's take it to the next step. So we just talked about three different tools that'll really help with getting your customer in their home today, speeding up the purchase. But next is less of what our tool does, but more the strategy that you should use. And our tool is a benefit in helping you do that. So this is within our MBS Highway platform. It's called Strike Rate, but it's really a strategy that our CEO came up with many years ago, where ahead of any refinance drops that are very short-lived in many cases, you see rates drop for a day in some cases, 3 days, less than a week, and there are these very short, fleeting opportunities to take advantage of with your customers. So, what you should do, and Strike Rate's a great help for doing this, is today see what rates your customers have and appoint what's called a strike rate for every customer, the rate in which they could benefit by refinancing. So, our tool does that here. We're comparing current market rates to customers' current interest rates based on different rate difference parameters you've set, or you can appoint a strike rate for a specific client, of course. But in short, we notify our loan officers on our site when they see a customer like John here that has a current rate of 7.25. His strike rate's 6.5. Well, we're around 6 3/8 right now, so he could benefit by refinancing and by around $460 in this case. So this is where you start to monitor your database after the initial close. You close the loan on the purchase. We import the data here into Strike Rate, and then we'll tell you when to reach out. And there's a second part to this where we show MI savings as well, based on the LTV, but you need our other product called Home Report for that. So we won't even get into that today. Happy to answer any questions later on. But yeah, this is just a strategy to use right now. I know rates are a little bit higher, but this is the time to prepare for it, because when that day comes, when rates hit 6% or just under 6%, you're, God willing, going to be flooded with phone calls, of course, but also be proactive about it. Don't just wait for the phone calls to come. You want to make sure you know exactly which customers you're going to call that day, what rate you're going to be offering them, what their savings will look like, and have them commit and get them into application right away. So use Strike Rate as your strategy and the tool to help you, really.
As the rates come down, just keep one thing in mind, guys, that we're all going to get really busy, right? Because what ends up happening is that naturally purchase business picks up as people start hearing, hey, rates are lower, rates are lower. Let's get off the fence, let's do this. But then refi business picks up too. And the most common mistake us as originators make is from a capacity standpoint, like there's only so many hours in a day, right? So that's why a lot of this automation that's already been set up where is important, because you want to take the time today to make sure that you're ready for when the rates come down. And when I say ready, I mean, think about it like if you get all of a sudden a bunch of phone calls on purchases and now you got to get these pre-quals out, are you really worried about the refi? Do you even have time for that refi, right? And that's why these kinds of tools are going to be really, really important for you, because if the system is telling you, hey, don't forget these 5 people are ready for a refi, guess who else is going after those 5 people? More than likely, it's going to be whoever's servicing that loan as well, right? Or advertising or some sort of call center loan officer, consumer direct loan officer. So it becomes a fight to the to being the first person there. That's why critical is that that not only are you is the data there for you to know, but it's automated. You're finding out quickly, hey, these 5 customers qualify. You're able to then click a few buttons and get this information out there. And hopefully at that point, if you've got a team of LOAs or loan officers, then you can get those guys busy as well, working your refinances while you're pushing your purchase business forward.
Yeah, smart points. And I do want to talk about just some other, there are tools that we have, but also strategies that you guys should be using. So I'm not even, going to share the screen on this one. I'll just talk to it. But you should be doing your annual reviews too. So although rates aren't super low right now, maybe not a lot of people can benefit by refinancing to a lower rate. A lot of people, while they have a good chunk of, credit card debt, student loan debt, car loan debt, whatever their story is, at the same time, they likely have a lot of equity that they can use. So we have a couple different tools in MBS Highway. One is our blended rate calculator, where your customer might have a 4% mortgage rate, which is really sexy. Nobody wants to get rid of it. But when you consider the credit cards, car loans, student loans, whatever else, their blended rate can climb to at or even above where market rates are today. So maybe take them through that tool, input their data, and then take them into our debt consolidation tool and do an analysis where you can see, okay, this customer has $150,000 in equity. They have these 5 credit cards. Let's see how we can pull cash out and pay off these debts to help them lower their overall monthly payment. And then you take it even a step further and say, okay, we've saved you, say, $1,000 a month on your overall output every month. But instead of maybe spending it or putting it in low yield savings somewhere, put it right back into the mortgage if you can afford to do so. and you save over time. You reduce your term significantly, the number of payments you're making, and increase your savings over time. So that's just more strategy to do an annual review and check in with your customers, even if you can't save them in rate. So, like you were saying, Alvin, it's not good to be reactive. It's good to just be proactive and
Yeah.
find the opportunities, even with higher rates right now, and then prepare now for when rates come down. And that's what a lot of our teaching is about, is closing the loan today and then having your second loan set up for when the time comes. So,
It's funny that we talk about 6.5s being a high interest rate because,
yeah,
like, I
right.
remember when the rates were like 7 and 8%, right? And at that point, it really wasn't about interest rate. Now, again, it's a different market today because home prices are much higher and like affordability is much harder, right? And so that's why rate becomes a much bigger factor when it comes to what the payment's going to be, right? And I think that's the key word there, is really focusing on payments. When you talk about debt consolidation and when you talk about cash out, right? Really knowing someone's situation and what they really need, that's what's going to make you a mortgage advisor, versus just an order taker, right? And I think being able to exactly what you said right now, explain to them that, hey, if you paid off these 4 credit cards, you've got the equity, right? And whether it's a cash out refi or if it's a home equity line of credit today that turns into a consolidate, 2 loans being consolidated, that's 2 mortgages, right? You get the equity line today, you get the combining the two down the road, even if, and that's what makes more sense. But that's where the specialization comes from, and the skill that we have as mortgage advisors comes from, because we're able to show the borrower that, hey, saving the $1,000, and I'll tell you, it's crazy when you actually pump that money right back into your mortgage payment, how quickly your term gets reduced. And I've even seen it sometimes where people have said, hey, I don't need to save money necessarily right now in terms of, like, for my payment. How about we just do a 15-year term today, and now it's a wash,
Mhm.
right? But all of a sudden, if you shaved a term from 26 years because they've got a COVID loan to a 15-year mortgage, I mean, think about the dollar savings that you're giving those people. And what I'm hearing now is that you guys already have the tools that are built into MBS Highway to show them what those savings look like.
Yeah, exactly. And it's
Yeah,
all super interactive. You share the video, get on a Zoom just like this. I mean, pull together maybe some first-time home buyers for a seminar, invite your agents too. They love the cost of waiting, being able to
yeah,
co-brand it with them. Like if I were in your shoes, if I was a loan officer, what I would do is I'd pull together a cost of waiting report, a bit over asking price report, a buy versus rent comparison, and maybe another one like our real estate report card that I didn't show that shows forecasted appreciation, inventory levels, things like that. I would export those for your agents' active listings that they have. So they see the property, they know it's going to stick with them even more, and show them a co-branded version with them. So you can show them what you can offer, and it's pretty free to them. So it's all very easy, honestly. It just takes a few minutes if you want to put a couple together, but it's easy to get your name out there and what you can provide them. And especially like we're talking about this whole time, it's not just the tool, it's your education and your advice that you're giving. I mean, it's a very different answer you give to customers and referral partners when they ask you, so what's happening in the market? Where are rates right now? Or where are rates headed, more importantly? And if you say something like, oh, if I had a crystal ball and I know where rates are heading, I'd be on the beach having a pina colada somewhere. It's a cute answer. It's fine. But you really want to make sure you know what's happening in the market so you can be the one that people go to. If I'm writing loans, I want to make sure I know exactly what's happening in the economy and exactly how it affects mortgage and real estate. That way, my customers never have to go anywhere else for the answers that they need to get. So you put together a really nice, well-crafted response to them, and it's a lot better than Pina Colada Boy over there. And you can really become an advisor to your clients and referral partners. So that's the overall goal. Use the advice that we give, that people like Alvin and his team gives, loan officers that are using MBS Highway right now, they're studying what the economy is doing, and then relay that to your customers and referral partners while using the tools to assist you. So
yeah. And the presentations that are built out in MBS Highway are also great because you're able to then take those presentations and work them with your referral partners. I remember this was probably about a
yeah.
year and a half ago or so. I called Diane. I was like, hey, do you guys have any slides that I can use? And so, I mean, she said, yeah, just go on the site, and there's a bunch of stuff that's in there. I extracted the data from there and created a presentation. For the next 6 months, we were doing those presentations with real estate agents. And now imagine the conversation with real estate agents when we're educating them on what's happening with the market and how to get customers, as opposed to, hey, just the regular stuff that we talk about when it comes to, hey, here's my loan products, right? Everybody's got loan products, but you now have something different that they don't have, which is advice and which is economical knowledge to show them how to close more deals.
Yeah, that means a lot more than just, what rate you can offer, what products you have, honestly. I mean, that's all so important, of course, but I think what's more important is just advising them, being their, finance manager really for life. So, there's one other thing I could show you here that I just think is really nice is our pre-qualified buyer campaign. So it includes a number of the tools I showed you already, but this is an email drip campaign where up to 9 different location-specific reports can be sent to your customers, pre-qualified borrowers, and it can be co-branded with agents. So I showed you the cost of waiting, the buy versus rent report. I mentioned our real estate report card, just an appreciation report, some national housing data and some more on home prices over time, like home prices through recessions. This is the kind of stuff I'm talking about. It's very small here. You're not going to be able to see it too well, but we show information like this that shows what happens to home prices during recession. And it was only the Great Recession that really affected home prices, but home prices started falling before that even hit. So we show stuff like this to really help customers understand that they shouldn't be weary about a recession. It's actually not what a lot of buyers that don't study this would expect. You would think during recession things would be bad, but which some are very bad. Of course, we don't pray for people losing their jobs and the economy to do bad. But in that time, rates come down because inflation comes down. And during that time, you're going to see more people enter the housing market and it's going to spark some demand out there. So that's why you see home values stay resilient through recessionary periods. So pieces like this is what we include in our campaign. And it's just something nice to include for your pre-qualified borrowers. So you're following up with them with something of value rather than, just your regular follow-up for holidays and, recipes, things like that, which are all great, but better to have something of value to send to them.
Sounds good. All right, guys. I'm gonna start wrapping it up. Hopefully, that was some good information for you guys. I will tell you, there is one other tool that Diana and the team have that we did not go through because we wanted to leave it almost like a teaser for you to join us the next time she's going to be on board with us. It's a newer tool for them, but it's actually really really cool. And again, it's all about giving data and information and staying in front of your customers, right? So that when the time is right, they're coming right back to you to do the refinance. What I'm looking for out of this, guys, I hope you guys can see that First Option's got a great tech stack. We're doing all the right things in terms of staying ahead of the economic changes, staying ahead of the changes that are happening in technology, and really putting you in the forefront of making a lot of money when the next wave of mortgages comes around. At the end of the day, capacity and efficiency are going to be key for you to really, really just hit it out of the park when that time comes around. And a lot of people are doing great today. It's just really about when rates come down, can you capture more business, right? And so the preparation starts today. And so if you guys want to, as we bring more and more speakers on, we're only bringing on speakers that are already affiliated with us and that are already working with us. And it's because we've drawn the line between the different technologies that we've got and make sure that integrations are there so that more automation happens, less work on you to do manually and more work happening on the back end of it that supports you and your business. So if anybody's interested in learning more about what First Option has, feel free to reach out to me. You've got my information already. We'll send out some follow-ups as well. And then Diana, close us out.
Sure. Thanks so much. If you want to reach out to me on MBS Highway, and I guess I'll wait to talk about the other product you mentioned, Home Report. It's a HomeBot home IQ replacement. Just give you a little teaser there. But if you want to talk to me about anything about the market, about our tools, Diana at mbshighway.com. Alex, I don't know if there's any chance you could throw that in the chat, please. Diana at mbshighway.com. So you can reach
they
out to me.
can't see the chat, but we'll include it on the follow-up email
Okay,
that's going out to the participants.
Very good. So Diana at mbshighway.com if you need anything. But Alvin, hope I can join you next time. And
yes, for sure.
We'll get
Looking
everything
forward
set
to
up.
it.
Yeah. Thank you guys so much.
Thanks, guys. All right. Bye-bye.
Bye.